We settled Mars over a century ago. Making this dusty rock our home wasn't easy, but the promise that led us across the void was freedom. Something my family's bled for many times.
Hello there, Sir from 17 once again, bringing you the next installment in my Red Faction Armageddon Insane Difficulty video walkthrough. And still toiling on from Bastion, we're now trying to find the Corporal, from which we just heard on the radio transmission. And over here there's going to be an upgrade station, but I don't think I'm going to use it. We'll soon find out. Because at the end of the day, the upgrades themselves, some of them are really useful, some of them are really fucking pointless, some of them are not even necessary, but you can if you want. It all depends on your play style. Like, there's two moves. One is, I think it's the... God, I can't even remember the names. I feel so bad. One is Berserk. I know that's dead easy. The other one is like a nano shell. And the Berserk, I think it increases your damage, it increases your endurance, and how much damage you can take. And you can go on a little tear, and you can use it to your ability, because it works off the same meter as your impulse. But it's something I never used, and I never felt necessary to use, although it probably is super useful in certain circumstances. So if you're the type of person that's using it and swears by it, then go for it, go ahead. It's just, I never really found a need for that one. And same with the nano shell. There's a section towards the end of the game where I use it, and the main reason I use it is because I had the idea on the fight when I was recording the guide, so I decided to run with it. And because I was at that point where I had too much salvage and nothing to really upgrade because I'd got all the ones I wanted, I just went for it and grabbed it, and it ended up being a fantastic strategy. But it's just something I've never really used. It'd be super useful if you're not getting rushed by anything to get your life back, because it does deflect bullets at a certain level and it does stop damage from hitting you. But it's all circumstantial, and it's all down to how you want to play. I mean, there'll be some people running through this game with all those crazy weapons that you can get from the salvage cheats, and that's going to take all the challenge away. It's going to be a fucking joke, because this is by no means a difficult game, but there are some sections of it, if you try and kill everything, where you've probably got more chance of trying to chew thunder. So it's just nasty. But there's another infected building there which you can take down rather quickly with your weapon of choice and collect all the salvage before you continue onwards. But just then we were treated to the shimmering of the screen, a lovely optical effect, and the reason it's doing that is because we're going to be introduced to a new enemy, and this enemy in the what's it called, bloody words, in infestation mode, which is Red Faction's equivalent of Horde. They're very simple, they're very easy, you can just cockslap them, they're a piece of cake. But in the campaign on Insane, these are probably one of the most deadly and lethal enemies you can come up against, because what they do is they're invisible. There's a nice flash like that, they turn up, and then they start charging a laser. And to signpost that the laser's going to be coming and going to hit you, 3 lasers will kind of come together and central on its target. They'll start from a wide berth and they'll all form a very fine line on you, and that's telling you that you need to move because they're going to hit you. And the enemy itself isn't too hard, because you can get up to it, you can punch it, you can shoot it with any guns you want. It's just got a lot of endurance, and it can take more damage than you'd think. And it teleports all around the area, being invisible, being a bastard, and it can be a little bit of a nuisance. They are one of the more difficult enemies to avoid, because as you can see there's that crazy looking like jizz on the screen. It's kind of an uncurling coils of smoke that are brown. It looks almost like a mire, like a fog. There you can see it. It's kind of like lightning-y-esque stuff, and it will actually block your path if you get to a certain area where it wants you to stop and fight that enemy. So be aware, if you're rushing forward and there's some kind of brown smoke stopping you, it's coiling and curling and unfurling, then it's probably means you have to stand there and start kicking some ass. So you'll notice I'm using the homing rocket launcher. There's no real reason for this, it's just a fun gun to use, and it can be damaging. This section now is interesting because there's a couple of areas where I decide to just run, because I do believe one of the best techniques and tactics for this game is to completely balls to the wall ignore the enemies, because there are moments where there are far too many of them and you're going to use all your ammo killing them, and there's still going to be some left, so there's just no point even fucking about. The only problem with the balls to the wall movement tactic is a lot of the environments on this game can be destroyed, and you will often find yourself having stuff fall in front of you, in your way. So whenever you're doing it, I would definitely say either roll, use your nano forge, or just get lucky, because it all depends on what's shooting at you and their ability to deal damage. And as always, if you're ever stuck, you can push, I think, one of the analogs in. It will show you. Look at this. I ended up dropping down and landing in the only tube that there is in the entire area, and I couldn't get out of it. How stupid is that? But follow your waypoint. There's a little bit more ambience and atmosphere to this section than some of the other ones, because they're trying to mislead you into thinking what's going to be happening, because you're looking for this Corporal. You don't know if he's dead or alive. You don't know what's got him, if it's going to be something new or something intimidating, and you kind of just, it's the fearing what you can't see rather than what you can see, until that happens, and that means it's a spawn point. So as usual, try and kill them all preemptively off the spawn if you can, before they get a chance to spread out, because they will be significantly easier to do so. And try not to get stuck against the stop sign like I just did. But yeah, I do have a bunch of Call of Duty commentaries on my... well, I say commentaries, Call of Duty gameplays on my laptop that I could put a commentary over, but I'm wanting to get these guides out so I can get onto the Deus Ex one. So in the next few days you're not going to be seeing any Call of Duty if you're a fan of the Call of Duty, so I do apologise for that, guys, but there's plenty of it on my channel if you've not seen it all, and there will be more of it coming. Be careful of that bridge. You'll notice I didn't detonate that charge, because obviously it would have collapsed and I could have fallen to my death. And I actually fell to my death on this game more than the enemies killed me, so you are your own worst nightmare. So just keep pushing forward. This is a slightly longer level than the last one, because we are going deeper into this hive of craziness. But there we go, there's the checkpoint. There's the spawn point. I'm using the homing missile to try and catch them off the spawn. I'm not too sure how successful it is as a weapon, but it's one of those things where if all else fails, you can always drop on the magnet gun to start cleaning enemies up if you run out of munitions. But one thing that is going to be coming on my channel while I'm uploading this is going to be zombies gameplay, because I've mentioned in an enslaved guide that I'm going to be using the zombies gameplay, because I haven't played any of the World at War maps and I'm super excited for them. I haven't played the Moon and I'm excited for that, and I want some more zombie gameplay on my channel, so I'm going to be using it as an opportunity to talk about my holiday, because a few people have mentioned they want to know about it, a few people have asked about my girlfriend and stuff, so I'm going to clear up some of those topics in those videos. And hopefully that should be well received, because my zombie content always goes down really well. I do have a bunch of it that I haven't uploaded, and the reason for it is I seem to always be commentating on other things and I never get round to doing it. I do actually have an Easter egg guide for Shangri-La to get the Shining Stone or whatever it's called, and I've had it for a long time, for when me and my friends did it, but I'm editing it a lot. I'm putting in like titles and pictures and interesting, annotations and stuff, so it's taking a little longer than expected, and I keep getting sidetracked by other guides, so do be patient for that. I am going to do a nice bombardment of zombie gameplay, so if anybody that digs that kind of stuff and wishes I did more of it, you should be in for a treat. But right now my priority is Deus Ex, because I need to get it out of the way for when I think there's Dead Island coming up, which I'm probably going to be getting because a lot of my friends are, and I hope it's guide worthy. I don't know too much about it, purely because I've read a lot of things on internet sites and stuff that it's kind of sandboxy, a little bit like Far Cry 2, where there are missions, there are objectives, there are thingles, it's not even a fucking word, there are things to stumble across, but it's one of those games where you kind of make your own path. And I don't know how linear it's going to be, I don't know how open it's going to be, so right now I can't comment on whether or not a guide's going to even be worth it. I don't even know if there's a harder difficulty. So that's soon to be seen, but my main priority is getting Gears of War 3 early, which I'm going to probably get it 2 days before it comes out, or the day before, and I'm going to probably stay up all night beating it on on hardcore on my first run, and immediately starting the guide, because that guide is going to be up within the first 3 days of that game's release if I can do it. And I pretty much did it for Dead Space 2, because that game came out on the Friday, and by the Sunday I think I'd already got everything up, and that's on my shitty internet, because I was leaving 7 videos rendering while I went to bed and stuff like that, and I was really hardcoring it because I needed a massive bump to my channel and I needed that content up as quick as possible, and that's exactly what I'm going to be doing for the major releases that are coming up. I would have done it for Deus Ex, but I was on holiday, so unfortunately, but Here's an upgrade station. I just bought something then, but I couldn't quite read it, so I do apologise, guys. You'll have to play it back if you're interested in following my upgrade techniques. This room is bad. This room is really dangerous, and the first thing you want to do is clear your path so that you can move through it and get to this section here where there's a bunch of monoliths, and the monoliths are going to be powering them up, and don't even bother trying to kill them until you've killed these monoliths. You'll notice there's a lot of creepers jumping at me. There's a big green guy there for whatever reason got stuck on the graphics and helped me significantly because he is dangerous, so always prioritize the big green guys with your magnet gun, fling them away like a bad tourist, and then come back to taking down the monoliths. As soon as the monoliths are down, you can focus on clearing the room. I do believe you might even be able to rush past this section, completely avoid all the enemies and just bomb it, but right there I'm getting hit by one of those new enemies, those invisible aliens that fire the laser. So look at him there, he's charging it at me. I fire a charge over, I roll away. There isn't an ability that you can buy, I think I've already bought it, where you take less damage when you roll, and rolling is going to be something you're going to rely on in the later levels, and I have some videos coming up that are as ridiculously stupid and just mind-blowingly insane as they are fun, so I really can't wait to get to those, because I mentioned them at the start of the guide that I had some really exciting content coming up for this guide and how I was really stoked for it. I just think it's going to be exciting to watch, even if you have no interest in it, because it was exciting to do, but at the same time you were just like, how the hell is this working? It was hilarious, and the only thing I can compare it to is trying to run Cortana on Halo 3 on Legendary, only nowhere near as ridiculously difficult. But you'll notice I'm running this as well. Always keep your Nano Forge on just in case you fall down. The only enemies that are a threat here are those laser creatures. These crawler dudes are pretty weak. When you get up here, when you extend the bridge, be careful if you have any enemies on you when you start to extend it. It is a cutscene, but you are not safe, and as you'll notice, my screen goes magically from red to blue, which signifies I did die, but I'd hit a checkpoint, so when I spawned in I was at the top of here, there was no enemies, and this bit was very, very simple. So sometimes it's just a case of pushing that checkpoint and making sure that you get there, because it's worth it in the end. And as the bridge slowly extends towards you, there's going to be a bunch of aliens that will spawn across the chasm and start jumping towards you with their acrobatic violence. And the easiest way to deal with them is to just magnet gun them and introduce them to the concept of force meeting resistance. So just enjoy it, because there's really nothing like this magnet gun in games today, and it's just a shame that the level design on Armageddon didn't have more areas where you could really utilise the destruction, because Red Faction Guerrilla I did enjoy, but I must say it was too open. If this game had a couple of levels which were a little bit sandboxy and out in massive open areas, it could have probably benefited a lot and maybe dispelled a lot of the linear criticism, that people have given it, because I do believe contrasting this game with Guerrilla is always going to give it an unfair contrast, because they're two completely different types of games. And I personally prefer this because, in all honesty, I'm not a Sandbox guy. I played, Grand Theft Auto when I was younger, and every single one since then, and I did enjoy them, but for the most, I never finished them because those games never keep my interest. And it's same with Morrowind, really. When I first played Morrowind, the Elder Scrolls game that everybody holds dear, I've got a friend that loves that game to death, and I've always been a campaign player when it comes to playing games. I was never really that much of an online guy until Call of Duty and Gears of War. So my main focus was campaigns, and I'd always been told where to go, because those were kind of the games that I'd played, and there was always a path that you could follow or you could discover. And when I played Morrowind and it was so open, it blew my mind, because it was like nothing I'd ever played before. There was no real objective, there was no real direction, I could do whatever I wanted, and I just found myself going into random houses, robbing everything from the houses, getting caught and getting killed by the really powerful gold guards, and I turned it off and never played it again because I just didn't like it. I didn't like the options. There was too much choice, and a lot of people I know feel that way about Fallout because they got out of the vault and they had this massive open wasteland to explore, and they didn't know where to go, they didn't know what to do, they didn't know the point of any of it, and it was just too intimidating. And I don't understand it with Fallout, because Fallout is my bread and butter. I love guns, I love post-apocalyptic stuff, I love everything about the game, but I do understand the feeling of being intimidated by choice, and that's kind of my feelings on Sandbox games, because I don't really play them. But I do think this could probably have benefited from a couple more open areas, because caves are all good and well, but it's the destruction that people enjoy, and you can't destroy anything with the caves. It's not like the Geo mod off the first Red Faction where you could tunnel into the cave walls. If you could do that on this, it would be even better, but you just can't. It's that simple. There's no romanticizing it. There's no getting around the blatant fact that, yep, you're denied on that aspect. So keep following your waypoint, keep picking up salvage, keep doing the Darius thing. This is one of those games where the luxury of knowing where you need to be is never, out of your reach. There's always a way to find exactly what you're supposed to be doing, and it is both a good thing and a detriment to it, but the game is so linear that it's not really, it doesn't really hurt it too much. One thing that I always found interesting was on Bioshock, how you could turn the arrow on that pointed you towards the quests. And I never did. I never turned that arrow on at all, because it pointed you towards where you were supposed to go, and I'm the type of person, I like to look around, I like to explore. If I'm going to be paying money for games, I want to see everything. I want to explore it, I want to be, immersed in its culture, in its aesthetic and whatnot, and just immersion, really. It's that immersion factor that you get from reading everything, from finding everything, from picking everything up. And Bioshock's arrow just kinda, I don't know, it was against the point, and I do understand it was for the people that don't enjoy those aspects of the games, the people that enjoy having the handheld, which I do to a certain extent, but it's never really been a massive priority for me. And once again, I'm getting stuck in the lovely arenas, because when you start destroying shit, the only thing that generally happens for me is I get stuck. But we're currently looking for an upgrade station so that we can get the repair ability that enables you to fire a lovely, like, energy beam. It's an energy ball of repairing energy. I said energy about 20 times in that sentence, which is horrific English, but I'll let myself off. It's not like I'm trying to write a poem here. But it's going to enable us to fix the elevator that we were stood between before, and it's going to come down and get us to the next section of the level, which is going to be us, I think, going towards a purification plant and destroying this massive structure, which is a kind of cool section of the game. So there it is, there's the repair upgrade, the repair grenade, sorry. You don't need any currency or salvage to get it. It's a mandatory upgrade because it is story driven. Something Final Fantasy fucking 3 could learn from. Goddamn game. But when you come out here, as you can see there, monolith has just come out of the ground, so you need to focus on destroying it before you mess about with the creepers. It is an interesting buff though that the monoliths give, because they definitely increase life, they definitely increase damage. I'm not too sure if they do anything else because I don't have the primer guide or anything, and I've not researched it, because for what it's worth, they've never been that much of a problem. The bigger creeper there, the green one, he can be a problem because he takes a lot more damage and he delivers significantly more, so make sure you always prioritize him. And there you go. Another stamped neck, another killed crawler. And ammunition on this game is an interesting subject. A lot of the times you will find yourself low on the guns that you want to use just through, Sod's law of using them more and not getting them replenished as often. But this is one of those games that if you get 4 guns that you like, you'll generally be switching between them so that your ammo never runs too dry, and you're always running upon caches just in time to bump them back up to what they were before. And that's something really cool about it, and especially if you carry the magnet gun, because you've always got something to use then, which is extremely useful. And here is the elevator you need to repair, so get that shit tossed up there. Toss your load upon that elevator. It's probably the most politically incorrect statement for a politician ever to say.
Nice work, Sam.
But now it's repaired, it's going to come down here and we can finally get on to finding the Corporal. And that's, for some reason, mentioning a politician has just reminded me of some of the stuff that kicked off on the news when I was away. And oh my goodness, it felt like the world was ending, like I'd left and everything fell apart, because there was riots in England, which were fucking crazy. There's been a hurricane in America, which has been dealing some serious damage. It's all been kicking off, but probably going to discuss that in a later video. So, as always, people, thanks for watching. I hope it's helping. And yeah, you take care now.